Right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Regulatory Committee meeting on the 7th of March. Have I got any apologies? I've got apologies from Liz. Can I have a mover?
Yeah.
Yep, Roger and Luke. All those in favour?
Aye.
That's carried. Just any disclosures of members' interests? No, so it's great. Any late items? No late items. Can I have a mover for the confirmation of the order of the meeting, please? So Claire and
Portal.
Great. All those in favour?
Aye.
Great. Confirmation of the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of December. Can I please have a mover that these are correct? Claire and Roger. Oh, Luke. No, Claire and Luke. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carries. Great, and we'll just have a quick flick through those, see if there's any corrections. Claire?
Yeah, on page 4, which is item number 7.
Yep.
On the first line there, the applicants there, the end of the line, it doesn't need the apostrophe, that's all.
Cool, thank you.
And that's the only thing I picked up. So other than that, pretty good. Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so that is done. Right, so we will go. Sorry, I might be coming down with sickness. The quarterly report, please. So, Quentin, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I can either run through the report if you'd like, or I'm happy just to field questions on it, or a bit of both. Would you like me to run through?
If you could take us through the, we'll take it as read, but if you could take us through some key highlights, please, that you think that is important, and if anybody would like to go over anything further. Sorry, Claire's got a comment already.
Yeah, I don't know, like it doesn't actually relate directly to this, but I've had issues with the newly consented quarry that's at Limeworks Loop Road and Fillory Road at Te Pahu. Quentin, you're probably aware of it too, I don't know, but I just want to say that I think there's 3 residents that are quite upset that it was processed as a non-notified consent, and Tony Quickfall's been involved with the sort of correspondence on it. It only happened on Friday actually, Marcus, and Tony's been really great, and I think he's proposing and that we actually set up a meeting so that the residents can sort of voice their concerns. The thing is, there's another quarry that's just over the border in Waikato district, but very close to the residents as well, and they also know that there was another former quarry that, you know, there's a chance it might be reopened as well. So,
okay, so maybe we should have discussion on this after the meeting, maybe, Claire, because I don't think this is covered through the quarterly report.
No, it isn't. Okay.
All right. So let's have the quarterly report first, and then we will get
okay.
for a discussion on.
Yeah, perhaps I should have asked for that to be as a late item or something.
Yeah, I think that would have been better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think we'll have the quarterly report first. Thank you, Quentin.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll just run through some of the main points in the report. It provides an update on proposed Plan Change 13, which is in relation to uplifting deferred zones. So a decision on that plan change was made to allow the plan change, and we received 2 appeals to the Environment Court in relation to that plan change. One of those has since been withdrawn, and there's still one unresolved plan change. But given the unresolved appeal was specific to certain matters and in relation to the T6 growth cell, the consents team are currently considering the plan change and treating the rules as being operative. So that means that the residential and large lot residential zones are live zones, and that the deferred zone can be treated as inoperative, and that's for all of the structure plan areas, all pre-2035 structure plan areas, with the exception of the T6 structure plan area, as that's where the outstanding appeal relates to. So just some other topics on the, sorry, I just lost my page. Other topics is in the resource consents side, we've been applying Section 37 time extensions to increase the processing time frames for consent applications. And that's due to the, I guess, high volume of consent applications that we've been dealing with over the last few months. And we've been reviewing that on basically a fortnightly basis. Within the kind of the last, this current quarter, however, 15 consent applications have still exceeded that processing time frame, thereby resulting in us having to apply a discount to those consents that went over the time frame. And the total of that discount has equated to $8,700 for those consents, with a range of a number of days being over, some from 1 to 2 days, others being quite a bit more due to their specific circumstances. We've also, in the quarterly report, it also, the regulatory report also refers to the changes to the Enabling Housing Supply and Other Matters Amendment Act. And so that means that councils will be required to, or Tier 1 councils will be required to have a plan change notified by 20th of August this year, which will give effect to those provisions that were announced by the government at the end of last year. And so that's probably, and we'll have to do some, I guess, kind of process and kind of document template changes to enable those changes which have got underway. But I think that's basically the main items in the report. If there's any questions, I'm happy to field those.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just an update under item 8, which is Hearings Commissioner's pool. So there's no updates to the pool, but it's probably timely just to give an update, and this has only happened last week, to the committee around the appointment of commissioners for Plan Change 26. Would you like me to cover that now? Would you like to do that later on? Yep. So Plan Change 26, as you recall, that flows on from item 7, that's the Housing Supply Act. It requires us to appoint independent commissioners, so we're precluded from having elected members hearing that. We have been progressing and working with Hamilton City Council and Waikato District Council on having a joint panel that was reported to SPMP committee. We are making progress on that, so we do have a short list of commissioners. It's a bit early yet to say who they are, because there's still a bit of work to go through, but it's looking like we may be able to have a joint panel appointed, or if not a joint panel, at least one person who might be on all 3 panels. So the intention is to report back in April to the SPMP and to Reg Committee with the chairman's approval on the appointments of our panel, which might be a joint panel.
Cool, thank you.
Just follow on the point on Hearing Commissioner Paul. I think it's just probably timely if Tony can just give an update in relation to the thinking around the transition associated with the election cycle and the continuity of RMA commissioners through that process. So I just asked Tony to do some thinking on that, and if there's any resolutions required of this council in relation to all of you good folk who are accredited RMA commissioners going through the election cycle. So Tony, can you quickly just give us an update there, please?
Yeah, thanks, Wayne. And sorry, this has only come up very late as well, so I haven't had a chance to update the quarterly report. So we've been turning our minds to what happens with the plan changes that we know we've got. So we've got a number on our books where we're going to have to appoint commissioners who are elected members to hear them. So the hearings won't probably be in reality until early 2023. But we've got a scenario where we can either wait until after elections, and probably the first chance we get to look at appointing elected members will be December or possibly even January or February. The challenge that gives us is it might then be really tight to get commissioners appointed. And also, if we do have new elected members who are on the Red Committee who aren't accredited, they won't be accredited potentially. So we'll tee up a meeting, Marcus, with you as chair to just work through this. But the thinking at the moment is that we could pre-appoint commissioners, elected commissioners, as independent commissioners. And at this stage, we don't know who might be running for elections. And a scenario would be if either existing commissioners don't run for re-elections or are unsuccessful, they could then sit as independent hearing commissioners because they have that accreditation. So that's just very recent thinking that only emerged towards the end of last week. If we haven't got a report going up, but if you feel that there's a need to make some decisions or guidance around that, happy to take that.
Cool, thank you for that. I think that's probably a good idea, putting us down as independent commissioners, so that covers your bases. But yeah, question from Luke.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. My accreditation actually comes due actually just at that transitionary period. So I've actually had a notification that my hearing commissioner or resource commissioner accreditation is coming due. So I'll have to either do that again and do that. So is that a procedure that we go through, or what's that?
Yes, so I think they've changed it now, so there's an expiry, and my understanding is that there's a refresher. So you don't have to do the whole thing again, it's just a refresher. So really good point though, it is very important. If it lapses, you have to go back to scratch, as I found out myself. So it's really important to do the refresher.
Right. No, there is a cost to that, of course.
I'm sure we can talk about that and supporting that.
Thank you very much for that. That is good. Sorry, I've got technical issues. Right, can I have a mover, please, to accept the quarterly report?
Sorry, I just had a
Oh, sorry, Roger.
No, sorry. Just going on from that commissioner status, I'm assuming that if the new RMA comes in, or the 3 acts replace the RMA, then will there be need to be some change to that commissioner status, because it's a new regulations that we'll be dealing with?
Yeah, my understanding is that the commissioners still will continue, but I know that MFE are looking at whether they need to change, I guess, the training or upskill existing commissioners just around that. But there'll be a transition period. So what I understand is there'll probably be at least a 10-year transition period before that comes into full effect. So there's probably still a few years to work that through.
How many years transition?
Sorry?
How many years transition did you say?
Well, I'm anticipating 10 because that's what they gave with the RMA transition.
We just haven't seen the detail around that, Roger, in terms of the bill and any changes to the legislative procedures in regard to hearing commissioners, be it councillors or independent hearing commissioners. So when we see the detail, we'll be able to comment a little bit more and know the timing around that.
Okay. Excellent. So can I have a mover to receive the quarterly report, please? So Claire, and seconded by Roger. All those in favour? Aye. So it's carried. Great. Now we've got a resolution to exclude the public. Sorry, Jenny, when is our first hearing start?
Through the chair, it's at 10:15. I have
oh, right, okay.
I have her in the waiting room ready to go when you're
Right,
ready.
that's fine. Claire, I would like to come back for your discussion, but maybe we can do that after the hearings.
Yes, and it's just kind of an update, really. I thought it was relevant for the panel to know about, but yep. yeah, it's not major.
That's fine. So yeah, Quentin and Tony, if you guys could maybe pop back in after the hearings or something like that, that'd be great. We can have a chat about these issues. So yeah, can I have a mover and a seconder, please, to go into public excluded? So Poto and Roger, all those